What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp. Today we're going to be checking out the top 5 wireless gaming headsets of 2024, highlighting some of the best that came out this year. Now yes, that means headsets from 2020 and 2022 obviously won't be included today. This is showcasing the best releases from 2024. And with the holidays right around the corner, Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, if you're in the market for a new gaming headset, hopefully you can get some of these on sale as well or to add to your wish list. So everything you see, we listed for you guys in the description down below so you can check it out. And yeah, there's more than 5. We're gonna have some honorable mentions as well. And I teamed up with Joe from Gadgetry Tech. We're gonna be going back and forth throughout this video as like a dialogue so you guys can get the best understanding of each headset and what they provide. Starting us off with the number 5 spot's gonna be the Turtle Beach Atlas Air. The one and only open back headset on this list and one of the few to hit the market this year. While they are few and far between, I know most people prefer closed back headphones and headsets, but I always love a good open back because it's just more natural sounding and immersive, but to each their own. The Atlas Air is still a really good option today, so let's check it out. On screen for each headset, I'll have some specs so you can learn more about it since we're doing a general overview of each pair, but the first thing that stood out to me was how light these are, hence their Air moniker. So for those who get fatigued or tend to get tension pains when gaming, this won't be an issue at all. Now you can really tell this was made with ergonomics in mind because they have a pretty impressive build despite being plastic to cut weight, including an intuitive volume dial stealthily built into the side of the left ear cup, letting you keep your right hand on the mouse during gaming. That left ear cup's also where the removable mic sits, the power and Bluetooth button, and the mode switcher to flip between the Bluetooth and your 2.4 GHz connection for quick adjustments, again, letting your mouse hand stay active in game. Now as a former glasses wearer, I do understand how important that can be when it comes to comfort and finding the right headset for you. And with the Atlas Air, these are only 10 ounces total. So like I said, extremely lightweight and comfortable. They are over the ear, and it is pressing against the side of the glasses, but it's not enough to press that into my temples or into my head. So only 10 ounces, very, very comfortable. And there are 0 manual adjustments needed to be done. Literally, you just put it on your head and it naturally fits to the shape and form of your head. Now how they pull that off is with this mesh headband that naturally compresses due to that mesh material. So not only is it gonna be light and breathable on your head, but I noticed it doesn't leave much of a dent in your hair either, since there's like no force. And what's even cooler is the floating ear cup design. These are literally not fixed or attached to the rest of the headset. Instead, they're floating with these 3 tension bands. 0 manual adjustments are needed, and it's gonna naturally just sit in place with the unique shape of your head. It's pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that before. The only downside I noticed was if you happen to tilt your head really drastically forward or backward, they will start to slide off because they are so light. But that never happened when I was actually gaming. That only happened when I was like using these around the studio and like I go to pick something up and they would slide because of the weight. Now, for each headset, we're gonna toss it over to Joe from Gadgetry Tech so he can give us a detailed breakdown of each headset and their frequency response chart to give you a better idea of how they sound.
Thanks, Frank. So getting into measurements, I want to explain what this means real quick. Now I have an ear simulator rig that measures the frequency response of every headset I have. It's a scientific and objective way of explaining the sound characteristics that you might hear. So on the chart, if you hear a headset that is very bassy and has a strong impact, that means the left side of the chart, the line would be higher because the higher the line, the stronger it is at that particular frequency. The middle of the chart represents mid-range, which is your vocals and a lot of instrument detail, and the right side of the chart represents treble. So if that was higher, things would sound more sparkly, but can also sound more airy. Now, bass is present on the Atlas Air, but not overly strong or emphasized as shown in the graphs and from personal listening experience. It connects well into the mid-range, and the real selling point of this particular headset is how natural things sound. Upper mid-range and treble is just a tad forward, which I think a lot of people like because it's gonna sound like it has a little bit more energy, and this is a very open and spacious sounding headset. This kind of sound profile lends itself extremely well to music, but it's also very nice for competitive and casual play. Because of its natural sound and imaging performance, it's really a jack of all trades.
So the key word here is imaging, yes. These are fantastic for directional audio, and since they are open back, you do naturally lose some of the bass punch, but at 24-bit audio with their 10-band EQ, you can adjust that and push them a bit, and I was really impressed with how clear they sound. Again, super comfortable, fantastic imaging. These were a surprise hit for me when I got them in, and they deserve the spot on this list for one of the best of the year.
The microphone that you're hearing right now is unidirectional and more than acceptable for a wireless headset, but we'll do a much longer mic test for each headset at the end of the video so you can hear them all compared to each other.
So at number 5 today, the Atlas Air from Turtle Beach, a company that really knows what they're doing in the audio scene. If you're fine with the trade-off of being lightweight for a plastic headset and you're in the market for open back, these are a great buy. They sound really good. Now at number 4 is the ASUS ROG Delta II. And Joe's gonna take this one today, give you his full thoughts and breakdowns of the headset and why it's one of the best of the year, deserving the top 5 nomination. Over to Joe.
So the ASUS ROG Delta II is an interesting headset. It comes in at $230 and it's a wireless headset, but it has a lot of good features a lot of people are looking for. Now the Delta II comes with something I wish more headsets came with, and that is 2 sets of pads. Not just 2 identical pads, but 2 different materials. So the stock ones that are included are leatherette, and they trap in the sound, they usually give you a little bit more bass, but they also came with a breathable sport fabric pad, which is much better for longer periods of gaming and comfort.
The Delta II also comes with a 10mm microphone capsule, which as you can hear sounds fantastic. And there's also no weird wireless artifacting or processing sounds either, making this one of the best microphones on a headset I've heard the entire year.
Now if all the specs, accessories, and battery life isn't enough for you, well, the comfort is fantastic as well. The headset is extremely light, it has a nice light clamp force, and it's designed more for larger heads. So that's the only caveat with this one, is if you have a smaller head or you like a tighter clamp, this is going to feel a little bit loose on you. Now the ROG Delta II also has Bluetooth, and I am pleased to say it's simultaneous. You have a dedicated button on the right hand side here and a dedicated volume wheel to change the volume of what you're hearing on that mobile device or whatever comes in through your Bluetooth connection. If you look at the sound profile, the bass is strong but not overly so it still has good emphasis and impact, but it's still very clear when you transition into the mid-range. Now as you're looking at the treble region, the ROG is tuned kind of like Harman Bright. So basically the treble above 5,000 Hertz is a little bit emphasized, and that can make things sound a little bit more sparkly and airy. If you're sensitive to this region, well, thankfully it's easy to turn that down with Armory Crate, but at least out of the box, it's not so overly done that it's unbearable or uncomfortable to listen to, and it does present details really well. I think aside from being geared more towards medium to larger size heads, the ROG Delta II is what most people are looking for as a core gaming headset. The sound quality is great, the microphone is fantastic, it's comfortable, it has long battery life and simultaneous Bluetooth, all without being super expensive. Now I think if it had game to chat mix built in, it'd be a total home run, but considering the price and how well it performs in every other regard, I'd still give that a pass. So if you want to learn more about this, I do cover it in great detail on my channel. Otherwise, that wraps this one up. Back to you, Frank.
So one of the unique things about the Delta II is you do get that simultaneous wireless and Bluetooth connectivity to game and connect to your phone at the same time, as Joe touched on. And it has a built-in 3.5mm jack. So wirelessly, they're compatible with PlayStation, PC, Switch, mobile, pretty much anything over USB-C. But if you want to use these then wired on your Xbox controller or plug them to your desktop amp and DAC, for example, you can also use these wired. Which honestly is a pretty rare thing anymore that wireless headsets have kind of gone away from over the years. The headphone jack has really been phased out, but ASUS has all the gamers covered. And as you heard from Joe, the mic is really good on this as well. But like I said before, we're gonna do a giant mic test at the end of the video. This does keep most of your main controls on the left ear cup, then all the Bluetooth controls are on the right ear cup, so you have dedicated controls from each. And they sound really good. Bass has a nice clean punch, detail still in the mids, and as Joe said, a pretty bright upper region, so they're lively sounding for sure, with still great detail in directional audio. It's got all the bases covered really, and it's a really good deal for the price. Great stuff from ASUS. Now at number 3, guess what? Another Turtle Beach headset. Here with their Gen 3 Stealth 700 model, that's just gotten better and better with each release. These have some cool things that others don't, like massive 60mm drivers and 2 dongles inside the box we'll touch on more in a minute. But this also boasts wireless and Bluetooth simultaneous audio, an enhanced 24-bit 96 kHz rate on PC, the ability to add side tone levels or game chat mix on the headset itself, and they do make this in 2 separate models, one for like Xbox and PC, another for PlayStation and PC. Obviously Switch and mobile compatibility as well, so just throwing everything into this. Both ear cups are loaded with controls. The left side is your main wireless connection, and the right side again for your Bluetooth controls, plus a switcher for crossplay dual transmission. Now this comes with 2 wireless dongles, one for your PC, and the other can be used anywhere else you want. A laptop, Xbox, PS5, and they're not tied to that system permanently. They can be swapped, or even just act as a backup dongle if you happen to lose one over time. But this is really cool to be plugged into 2 systems at once, and the flip of a button just switch back and forth between them, which is super convenient for those who have a PC and console at the desk setup. Now these are a bit on the bulkier side. Naturally, with those large drivers, they're gonna be a bit heavier than I'd like to accommodate the size of those. And the ear cups are sort of like a rhombus shape, so they do sort of jut out up here and do come in contact with my glasses. It's not too bad, but you do start to notice it after a while, after like an hour plus, just due to the clamp force overall. And honestly, if it wasn't for that rhombus shape of these over-the-ear pads, where it does jut out right in contact with these, it really wouldn't be an issue. But one thing I do like, as you can see, is these rotate and lay flat. So you can have them lay flat on your desk or around your neck. And as someone who has 2 kids and works from home, I'm always down here in the studio. I like when I can lay them flat on my neck like this because I'm always trying to keep an ear out. So the fact that I can do this is a bonus, and I wear headsets like this probably more often than I should admit. The headset is made with reinforced steel for the headband support and the ear cup yokes, so it's gonna be a bit bigger and bulkier than most, but actually still nowhere near as heavy as some of the others we have on the list today. But again, a lot of that's gonna be from the tech inside, the massive 80-hour battery, and from those 60mm Eclipse dual drivers. So as we do, we'll toss it over to Joe for his breakdown of how these sound.
So the frequency response measurement of the Stealth 700 Gen 3 really shows a lot of maturity on the Turtle Beach side for how far they've come in tuning. The bass is strong, but again, it's not overly done. It's punchy and it's impactful, but it's not so deep and fatiguing that it's kind of ruining the rest of the mix. Mid-range performance is excellent as well. Again, by being relatively flat and not overly peaky or having any big dips, things do sound natural, and this does apply again for music and games. Treble tuning is fantastic, but it is a little bit bright for some people. That peak at 8,000 Hz can make things sound a little bit sharper, metallic sounding, so if you find that, either go with custom EQ and reduce 8,000 Hz or switch to the Vocal Boost preset, which I think tames it quite nicely. Overall, this is a fun and energetic sound profile, but it's not overly egregious in any particular area.
Joe put it perfectly. These sound great for gaming, really benefit from that Vocal Boost preset, so that sharpness, is kind of tamed a bit, but I love the quality of the bass on these. They do also have their signature superhuman hearing mode that you can enable in their Swarm software, which pretty much boosts the sounds of footsteps. Absolutely OP in games like Rainbow Six, Counter-Strike, or COD, but it makes everything else sound pretty terrible, but just worth noting.
And again, this is the quick mic test. The mic is flipped to mute and it's non-removable because it folds into the ear cup itself. And, sounds pretty meh overall. I've heard a lot better. And I think the non-adjustable AI noise canceling that's built into the mic really diminishes the overall quality.
So at number 3, the Stealth 700 Gen 3 has some really beneficial features that the hardcore gamer can appreciate and definitely take advantage of. I think the sound quality on these makes up for its shortcomings. Now for number 2 is actually my personal favorite on this list. Doesn't mean they're the best of the year, that's what the number 1 spot is for, but I find myself continually picking these up to use over anything else the last month plus since I got these in. These are the Alienware Pro Wireless headset. And I'll be honest, Alienware's had some pretty bad peripherals over the years. I have no problem saying that. I feel like they always sort of try too hard to lean into that Alienware branding. It makes something look crazy futuristic without caring too much about the quality. And that's for their mice, keyboards, and headsets. But man, this came out of nowhere and blew me away. These use graphene drivers over the typical neodymium magnets that most headsets use, can be pushed to 96 kHz if you use these wired, and have built-in active noise canceling. All in a form factor that's pretty compact, comfortable, and reminds me a lot of the V-Moda headphones from back in the day. Remember when V-Moto was like the cool YouTuber headphones? And these take their best shot at a modern wireless gaming headset, and it was an absolute home run from Alienware. Now, in terms of comfort, these are just absolutely perfect. They're just around 11 ounces, which is the second lightest on the list, second lightest to the Atlas Air, of course. And these actually do have active noise canceling built in. But the clamp and the seal around the ear is just so perfect that it creates that natural barrier where it does block out your environment and, the sounds around you. So I really don't even use the active noise canceling. They're also really, really flexible, which is great. Doesn't compromise the build at all. And honestly, if you pop off the microphone, they look like a really nice pair of headphones. You can wear these out on the town or out if you're traveling, and you won't look ridiculous. They don't look like that typical gaming headset. They look really nice. Like I said, I absolutely love these, and in fact, I like them so much that I wasn't sure which colorway I wanted to go with because they're both so clean looking. So I picked it up in both black and the white colorways until I can decide which I want to use. And I'm not being dramatic or cheesing it up for the number 2 spot, but it's like when you first test drive a car. You sit in it, and when it just feels right, then you know. And that's how it's been with these from the moment that I put them on my head. Everything feels right. But all that would mean nothing if they don't sound good. So you know what time it is? Over to Joe.
So taking a look at the frequency response of the Alienware Pro Wireless, well, there's a lot of things people are going to like here. It's a very much V-shaped headset, and when I say V, that refers to the graph, because the left side represents the bass, and you can see here it's very strong. The bass isn't just strong with the Alienware Pro, it's well articulated and very clear, so it's a good quality of strong bass as well. If you turn active noise cancellation off, the bass does actually reduce a little bit, so that's a fun little trick. Mid-range is recessed only in comparison to bass and treble, but it still sounds very natural. It only seems recessed because of how much brighter the upper treble is. So if you look on the right side, you can see this emphasis in the higher frequencies, and that makes everything sound a little bit more sparkly. It can be a little bright for some, so you can always EQ that down, but out of the box, it's definitely an energetic sound.
So that V shape or the smile curve is something that I've talked about on the past in the channel, especially in instances like when we EQ something with like SteelSeries Sonar or Synapse. I always make that custom EQ to bump the bass and add some sparkle, and these are just like that stock. It's not overdoing it and being unrealistic or doesn't sound muddy. It's just perfect straight out of the box.
And a quick little sample of their unidirectional mic, not blowing me out of the water, but still more than usable.
I did mention before they have the active noise canceling you can toggle on with a button underneath, as well as a transparency mode, which uses these 2 microphones on the top of the ear cups to sort of pump in your surrounding audio in your environment so you could still hear what's going on. But honestly, the natural clamp and seal around your ears is just so naturally good that it does that already. It does block out most of the noise in the room, where I don't even bother with noise canceling. So just all together, crazy impressive stuff here from Alienware. My personal favorite headset of 2024. And now for the number 1 spot, gonna let Gadgetry Tech take it away with his breakdown of why the new Astro A50 Gen 5 headset is the best wireless gaming headset of 2024.
So now we land on the Astro A50, the top pick of the day, and it's for a few reasons. One, you have 2 versions now. So the launch A50X was $380 because of the HDMI switch, which was their way of addressing the game-to-chat mix issues on PlayStation 5 because Sony doesn't like sharing that function with third-party headsets. Not everyone wanted that though, so now we have the A50 Gen 5, which offers a lot of what made the A50X amazing, but at a lower price and without the HDMI switch.
Regardless of which A50 you pick, the microphone quality is absolutely absurd. Even though it's a flip to mute and the microphone itself isn't big, it's crystal clear. I still have my simultaneous Bluetooth, I still get all the controls I like, and all of these features are critical to make a good gaming headset.
Now comfort is great, but it's not fantastic, and that's only because the ear cup openings aren't as large as some other models covered in this video. The breathability is fantastic, as is the plushness, and the weight isn't too bad of this headset with the clamp force being relatively strong, so it's very secure, but it doesn't have any kind of a vice-like grip on your head. Now controls are such a critical thing for a gaming headset, and something that Astro typically nails. You You have a flip to mute mic, which I love, a dedicated volume wheel, and then dedicated buttons for game to chat mix, which is super convenient in the situations where you need to quickly adjust it. No going through hoops, no pressing and holding buttons. All the core controls that you need are there. Now, the frequency response of the A50 Gen 5 and A50X is arguably what makes this thing such a wonderful headset. It's not overly bright sounding, the mid-range is fantastic, the bass is very impactful if you want it to be, but out of the box it sounds incredibly natural. This is one of those headsets that you can literally just plug in and play, and whether you're watching movies, listening to music, or playing games, it's going to sound engaging. Now, some people may find that the treble tuning sounds a little bit too relaxed. If it sounds dull or uneventful to you, thankfully it responds really well to EQ. Simply lift the higher frequencies and now you have a much more energetic sounding headset. Now, thanks to Logitech's G-Hub software, this also supports full custom parametric EQ, which does apply for console. This is huge because you can make it sound however you want. So whether you make your own preset or browse the community for presets from creators such as yours truly, you can really make it sound however you want. Now, the Astro A50 basically takes everything I like about the ASUS ROG Delta II, but just dials it up a notch. The sound quality is absolutely fantastic, the microphone's great, the feature set is great, and it works wirelessly with all platforms. So because there's no asterisk, there's no gotcha, there's no ANC, that's the only thing missing here. But aside from all that, this is pretty much what everyone's ever wanted for a gaming headset. You do pay a price for it, but you're rewarded in spades for what you pay. If you want to learn more about this, I do cover these headsets in great detail on my channel, so be sure to stop by and say hello. With that being said, thank you so much for having me, Frank. Back to you.
So there it is, the #1 top gaming headset of 2024, the Astro A50 Gen 5. I do think this model is better than the HDMI version. I just really don't see how that's worth all the extra money when you can still pretty much get that same multi-platform connectivity here with their docking base to switch between 3 consoles. So if you have that ultimate setup where your desk is loaded, Xbox, PS5, PC, or even the living room with an HTPC setup, anything like that where you're switching back and forth for gaming, these solve all the issues with one headset, one dock for all, while sounding absolutely incredible. And as you heard from Joe's test, one of the most natural and clean sounding microphones I've heard from a wireless headset, even wired for that matter. The intuitive game to chat mix is built into the side of the ear cup panel, although I do wish those controls were on the left side because, again, it would keep your right hand on the mouse, aim's more important than movement. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, I do agree these are the best of the year, but I do have an annoyance. The dock is great and convenient, yes, but the battery life on this is pretty bad. Barely lasts 2 full days of use, so the charging dock is going to be an easy solution to set it down and charge it up. However, the mic needs to be flipped up and the ear cups have to be perfectly level with each other, or else those magnetic pogo pins on the base won't connect. And more times than not, I'll set it down to charge, only to find out that it wasn't properly docked up. Again, not a deal breaker, just something to be mindful of. And still, with all that being said, it's still the best headset of 2024. Now, real quick before we do the giant mic test, which I'm sure you're all waiting for, always have fun with those, there are 2 other headsets that I want to go over because even though they didn't crack the top 5, they are worthy of being today's honorable mentions of the year. First is the Corsair VIrtuoso Max. I think these by far have the best overall build quality. They're visually stunning and are super well made with intuitive controls on the ear cup for multimedia playback, which is pretty cool, letting you skip through tracks, simultaneous wireless and Bluetooth audio with killer sounding 50mm graphene drivers, and like we saw with the Atlas Air, I really like having the dial on the ear cup itself. You can never miss it, it's nice and knurled to match the overall design, and the right side of the ear cup then adjusts the Bluetooth audio. But with all that being said, due to this construction, they're super heavy. Over 430 grams, and at $330, it's just way too expensive. That's more than the Astros with their omni-platform dock. Now, this is on sale for the holidays, but even still, that's just too pricey, a bit too heavy, and there's just much better options out there for that price range. And the other honorable mention today is the PlayStation Pulse Elite, a really incredible sounding headset for the PS5 and PC, really tailored for the PlayStation ecosystem with their lossless audio that just sounds wild with their use of planar magnetic drivers. Yes, if you guys remember, they bought Odyssey. So these are using Odyssey's own planar magnetic drivers inside. And when I was talking to Joe when we first started workshopping this video, he joked around that these sound so good that you can hear shoelaces when you're running around. So then, Frank, why are they just an honorable mention? For me, the overall build and material quality is just bad. These feel really cheap. The rubber headband is thin and pulls your hair. All the controls are crammed onto the driver yoke and just feels poorly placed. And speaking of which, the mic mute button is on the tip of the microphone itself. So before you mute it, everyone's gonna hear the sound of you pinching the microphone. It's just not well made. And if you're gonna go with the legacy name of the Pulse headset, give it that Pulse feature like we had back in 2012, 2013 with the original Pulse Elite headset. I don't know, they sound so good, which is such a shame. It just left me scratching my head, literally. But these are the least expensive on the list today, and like I said, they really do sound so good. So if you pretty much game exclusively on the PS5 and you have a Portal and a PC, then this is the way to go if you don't mind the toy-like quality. All right, now we're gonna do the big ol' mic test comparison. Gonna have all 7 of them back to back so you can hear how the microphone sounds, especially in comparison. It'll give you a better idea of how they stack up next to each other. And ironically, if you can, wear some headphones so you could, really hear the difference in quality of the mics.
I see dead people. Mustard on the beat, ho. Hey, mustard on the beat, ho. Debo, any rap? He a free throw. Man down. Callin' amber lamps. Tell him, breathe, bro. Nail him to the cross. He walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me. Fuck them all and they mama. How many ops you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on his body. I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God's watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show him. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that upped the score with him. Walk him down, whole time I know he got some hoe in him. Pull on him. Extort shit, bully, death row on him. Say Drake, I hear you like him young. You better never go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that gets your hand-me-downs. And party at the party, playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boy? Certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. Dot, fuck him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'm gonna do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor. They not like us. 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 Let me hear you say OV ho. OV ho. Say OV ho. OV ho. Then step this way. Step that way. Then step this way. Step that way. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way. Step that way. Then step this way. Then step that way. So the #1 spot with the Astro A50s definitely have the best sounding microphone. Like I said, probably one of the best that I've heard for a wireless headset. Second, probably to last year's release of the Black Shark from Razer. And honestly, the Delta II from ASUS also sound really good today. But that'll wrap it up for the video on the top 5 wireless gaming headsets of 2024. Hope you all enjoyed. And again, massive shout out to Joe from Gadgetry Tech. He is my go-to for all audio. Personally, before I buy something, I always check out his channel. So definitely shout out to him. I'll put his channel down below so you can check it out. And he has detailed reviews of pretty much every gaming headset. Every headset on this list is there as well. So definitely check out his channel. And like I said before, everything will be listed in the description so you can check out all these headsets if you want to buy one for this holiday season. Probably some good deals with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and to send to your family if they're on your wish list. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on all socials at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.